Welcome to the First Lady Point of View show, everyone. I'm your host, the First Lady Felicia K. This is where you can expect culture, music, news, reviews, fashion, and exclusive interviews. So stick around. We got an exclusive with someone very special and important, if you will, in the building, and I'm so excited for you to meet him right after this.
It's the First Lady Point of View. First Lady Point of View. You tuned in. It's the First Lady Point of View. First Lady Point of View. Culture, music, news, reviews. You tuned in. It's the First Lady Point of View. You tuned in. First Lady Point of View.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Today we have a special guest in the building, and his name is Matt Diaz, and he is going to talk to us a little bit about what he does with CALFOREST, right?
That is correct.
All right, and he is the president and CEO.
I am.
All right, tell us, Matt, exactly what is CALFOREST and how long has it been around?
CALFOREST has been around actually in some form or fashion since like the 1960s.
Okay.
We are a trade association. That means that I am a delegate, a representative of the forest product sector in California. My background, though, I am a true blue forester. I've been doing nothing but forestry, wildfire my entire career. I'm 25 years into it, 26 years into it, which is amazing to even think about. And I did a lot of my time working in the woods. I'm a registered professional forester. I'm licensed in the state to practice forestry. And I got involved in the policy and regulation in this field some years ago, and I've worked myself up through the public sector and then to the private sector. And so here I am today, kind of a representative of the forestry and wildfire issues that are facing our state.
So did you always know you were going to go into forestry? Was that something you loved as a kid, like being out in the forest and going hiking and camping and things of that nature? Or did you kind of figure it out halfway along the way?
We did do a little bit of that as a family, but I did not know what I wanted to do. And I grew up in South Sacramento.
Okay.
And I went through high school, went to Cosumnes River College, and I was right at the precipice of graduating. I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I heard somebody in that quad say the word forestry. I looked into it, transferred to Humboldt State, and never looked back. So I didn't know until literally like within a couple weeks of graduating that from my junior college years that I was even attempting to get into this world. And once I did, I was locked in. It was a fit, apparently.
So that kind of answers the next question. You don't have any family members or friends that did it before you?
That is, yeah, I'm the first person in my family to ever even be in the natural resources world, or to be actually, I spent a lot of my early years living in very rural parts of the state.
Okay.
We've always been a Sacramento family, and I was the first to kind of branch out and do something in other parts of California, but never left California. I'm a California boy.
Okay. So do you have kids?
I do have two children. I've got a son that's 23, lives in San Diego right now, and I have another son that's 17. That's living at home with us right now, and my wife has two sons as well. We got 4 boys living around us right now, and then handful.
So do you think that any of them might follow in your footsteps?
I would suggest it's unlikely.
Oh, really? You don't think?
And it's something I think that we're going to talk about today, like the workforce development and the workforce needs is something we'll get into, I suppose, here in a while.
Absolutely.
But in terms of my children, I don't think that any of them are going to go into that field, which is fine. That's okay. Yeah. But yeah, no, not my family.
So how would you say that it shaped your personality as the man you are today, being in this particular field?
Well, I would say, like I said, I spent a fair amount after I got out of college, out of university, and I attended college at Humboldt State. So that's already a fairly rural community. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I came from Sacramento, urbanite, if you will. And once you kind of branched out into these other communities, it gives you a different level of culture. Like the rural portions of California have a different flair, a different flavor. And so that definitely changed my outlook on life to a certain extent. And getting into the field of forest management definitely was something that, like I said, I had no idea. When I got onto this academic pursuit or this trajectory, I was thinking park ranger. I was thinking natural, like working in a state park or a county park or trail maintenance. And as it turns out, it's nothing of that. That's not to say that those jobs don't exist and they're not important, but I got into the true blue field of forestry where you're doing forest management for the purposes of growing sustainably wood products, harvesting them, manufacturing, but at the same time balancing all of that against the ecological values and the recreational values and so on and so forth. So all of that has really, that's why I found it so interesting.
Yeah.
Like it was just unique. It's not a well understood sector of our state of California. And I just found it fascinating, and I got vested very early, and it has definitely changed my life. And so that's why I came back to Sacramento, because I got involved in the policy and the regulation. There's a lot of people out there that I grew up around that still to this day don't know what this means. And when we have this wildfire crisis coming on, and trying to balance all of this together, there's just very few of us out there that are vested in it and can speak about it and are comfortable speaking about it, I suppose. So I came back to Sacramento to get involved in the policy side of it.
Okay, so let's get right into it. You
Let's
said you
do
wanted
it.
to talk about that. I want to talk to you about exactly what all goes into it. What exactly is it that you do?
Okay, so what I do now is I work almost explicitly with our legislature.
Okay.
I work with our policymakers. I branch out and work with folks like yourself.
Yes.
Like I'm a spokesman for forestry in California to a certain extent. And I don't limit myself to any one venue.
Right.
I pride myself on getting out there and talking to anybody at any time. But my real day-to-day job is to try to inform policymakers on issues that are affecting the state and trying to effectuate change that's going to be better for the citizens of California in the specific realm of forestry and wildfire. That is the venue I work in right now.
Is the forestry and wildfire.
Well, you can't separate the two. When I was a younger man, wildfire was always an issue in California.
Yeah.
But I think that it's very clear that over the last 10 or 12, well, 15 years or so, maybe starting in 2013, when the rim fire hit around Yosemite, which you may or may not remember, but it was just a huge conflagration. And since then, we have consistently had these huge conflagrations, and one of the terrible, absolutely terrible benchmarks was last year down in LA. So we've seen, the Palisades and the Eaton fire, which is top issue today, but we got to remember that we've lost Paradise, we've lost outskirts of Santa Rosa, we've lost Greenville, So you can't separate forestry and wildfire any longer. This is a rural industry with rural communities, rural issues, but getting absolutely plagued by wildfire. So they're one and the same almost in today's world.
So would you say that you need more people to get involved with helping?
I think I think that one of the benefits of your venue, and again, I want to thank you for letting me to be here today.
Oh,
I mean,
no,
it's really a wonderful opportunity. But your audience, the folks that we're broadcasting to today, I think one of the things that we should let folks know is that there is workforce needs out there. And for folks, and the wildfire crisis has driven all kinds of needs, the firefighter side, the resource manager side, folks like myself. There is so much opportunity right now. So that's what I think one of the values is like getting out to the folks in the greater Sacramento area or in your audience and letting them know you can call me. You literally could call me if you wanted to and learn more about it. You can visit our website, so on and so forth. So that's the value. One of the values of being here today is not only education, but letting people know that jobs exist.
Exactly. I appreciate that. That is so admirable, because some people might be just like you, might say, you know what, I had no idea about this, but hear about it and it's life changing.
It is.
That's where they belong. They find they're fit. So how many people do you work with daily?
We're a small organization.
Okay.
So this is the way that CalForest is built. We represent landowners in the state of California that are managing and sustainably harvesting timber. And in total, that is 4 million acres of California. So California is about 100 million acres, round figures.
Okay.
We represent about 4% of the state, mostly in Northern California. My direct team is only about 9 people in total. So we're a small, vigorous group, but we're boisterous.
No, that's good.
And we don't
Sometimes
stop.
that's good.
But our members are the members that support us, and the folks that we represent span across Northern and Central California and have pretty extensive landscapes. I mean, 4 million acres is a lot. I don't know if people can even think about an acre, but a football field with the end zones, that's an acre. Think about 4 million of those laid out, and that's what we represent.
Okay. And you're not just based in Sacramento, are you?
No, well, I am based in Sacramento. My office is here in downtown Sacramento.
Okay.
But again, our members are spread all throughout the central and north half of the state, for the most part.
So you said members. That means you have sectors all over the place, right?
Well,
Or just the 9?
No, I say members because like a trade association, I'm not like the structure of a trade association is that
Let's
we
get
have
into that if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So like there's a lot of trade associations out there. They're very numerous in Sacramento.
Okay.
People that represent teaching, represent nursing, represent you name it, water, different factions of water. There's numerous of them, and they all have members.
Okay.
And their members are dues-paying members, and they support the organization that hire people like myself to help educate, get out, reach to different communities, different voices, everywhere from policymakers to children in elementary school.
Okay.
And so that's what they do. They pay us they support us through revenue so that we can support them in an environment that they are not housed in right now. You cannot have a business that's in Chester, California, and think that you're going to reach out well within the Sacramento market or the urban markets, right?
Right.
Because you're focused on doing your work in Chester, California,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So that's the basic structure of a trade association: membership driven,
Okay.
have a mission, and go out and accomplish that mission on behalf of your members.
Okay. And you mentioned elementary schools. Do you go to schools regularly and speak to the kids, or?
I haven't done that actually for a while. There's other organizations that we partner with that definitely do that. I'm not saying I won't do that. And I have in my younger years when I lived in Eureka, California for a long time.
Okay.
I would go to the elementary schools with some with organizations up there and spend probably 2 to 3 days, 4 days a year speaking to elementary school children about what it is we do and how we help the community and so on and so forth. So yeah, I'm not scared of any audience.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
So you line them up, bring them to me.
Okay, you guys heard it. So as far as what has been the most rewarding thing as far as being out talking to people and recruiting and letting them know what you got going on, what has been the most rewarding thing thus far doing what you do?
You know what I think has been one of the most rewarding? There's a couple of them actually.
Okay,
There's
give
a
me
list of
3.
things,
Give me your top 3.
But I'm going to give you my top 1 and build on it a little bit. If we have time for 2 or 3, we can get into it. But this is the deal. Like we're talking about workforce development, right? And one of the things that I think that has plagued the industry of forestry is that we've always been able to reach out and build our workforce needs within the communities that we exist in. And what I mean by that is if you're based in Redding, California, you are drawing on workforce within Redding, California. If you're in Chester, California, again, you're drawing on Chester, California, that kind of thing. What I like is to come out and talk to folks in San Francisco Bay Area, and LA Basin, the Inland Empire, the Sacramento markets, the Fresno markets, these kind of things, and let them know that this industry exists. We're looking to diversify our industry. We're looking to bring in different voices, different people, if you will, and we're looking to support these communities that are historically, or not historically, are urban and don't know about us, but we want to draw down on that to build capacity and give different opportunities to folks throughout the state of California. And getting that message out is something that I consider to be one of my top, fun for me. I like doing that. You know what I mean? So that's what I would say is one of the hit points for me.
Is being able to meet new people.
And educate.
Make them aware of what you got
Bring the
going.
energy, get them invested, get them interested, and even follow through with them if necessary, like help them get to the right pathways, if it's junior college, if it's vocational, that kind of thing. So.
Okay, well now that set up a good question that I want to ask you, but we got to get ready for a break. It was going by so smooth. We're already at the halfway mark.
All right.
So we're going to go into a break and we'll be right back talking more with Matt Diaz, and then we're going to find out how you can get involved as well right after this.
First lady point of view. You tuned in.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Can you see anything different as a pill?
No.
You don't know?
Fentanyl is being mixed into everything now. There's only one thing that will save somebody's life. That is naloxone nasal spray.
Fentanyl, it's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
Why would drug dealers put a lethal dose of fentanyl in drugs if they know it's so harmful?
Really just all about the money.
I just didn't realize that one pill could change your whole life.
More kitchen now.
All right, welcome back to the show, everyone. We're talking to none other than Matt Diaz, and he's going to tell us a little bit about how you could get involved with the organization, CalForest, right?
Yep.
And do you guys have a scholarship program, or do you guys, not necessarily, it doesn't have to be a program, do you guys offer scholarships every now and again for those who might need it?
We do. So I would suggest that there's a couple different ways to look at this. And again, I don't want to get into the gory detail, if you will, but we have a scholarship program through a sister organization called the Forest Foundation.
Okay.
And we give out, I think it's true, 4 scholarships a year for those that are interested in pursuing forestry. But beyond that, some of our companies have scholarship programs. There's some other organizations we work with that have scholarship programs. And so we could we could weave the fabric of scholarship opportunities for you pretty easily if you got in touch with us. And there are.
Okay.
Most of them, though, I'll be honest with you, Felicia, are like for those that have already gotten into, like, are there 1 year, 2 years and kind of going down that pathway? And we want to support them further in that pathway.
Okay.
But they do exist.
Okay. So that brings me to the next question. How does private forestry owners contribute to what you have?
Private,
like if there's say if there's somebody that does what you do, right? And they just want to contribute, like, I want to give you this and go about my way. Is that something that you would be interested in?
I can
or you would rather collab?
I would think about it a couple of different ways. Like employee training is one thing. If you're in the sector, we offer training programs to better yourself as someone in that field. A lot of our members have philanthropic foundations where they give back to the communities. These are more like, this would be not a CalForest thing, but this would be our members in their specific communities giving dollars through philanthropic means to help the communities build.
Okay.
Bring in different levels of culture, medical facilities, leaning in with the schools, that kind of thing.
Okay. So that's good to know.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, because then there might be somebody that just wants to help in that way.
Yeah.
You just never know. You got to cover all the bases, because sometimes people, they might want to be involved in a major way, and sometimes people just want to give and, you know what, I believe in this, I want to give you this, I want to donate this.
Well, if folks want to donate to the the foundation is an amazing foundation. So if they want to donate, they can find the Forest Foundation online or get a hold of me. And if there's if people want to donate to that foundation, they can, but reciprocal, we can line folks up with some opportunities from like foundations and the like too, as a means of reciprocity.
Okay, I love that. All right, now, what can everyday Californians do to support healthy and more resilient forests?
So this is a big question. There's a lot of pieces here. So first of all, I think it's really important that folks understand that in California, 60% of our forest lands, approximately, it's actually 57, but approximately 60% of our forest lands are federally managed. Okay. You drive up to Placerville, you see national forests, right? Mm-hmm. Those are all federally managed lands. Beyond that, about 40% of them are private lands. And then we have about 3% are state lands, so a very small amount that are actually state lands. And so you think about like, how does the individual person get involved? Well, I think that in today's world, getting a hold of our legislators, and sounds like a pitch, but we're really trying to invest in fire prevention right now.
Okay.
Thin forests, use material, pursue treatments, prescribe fire and the like, so that we are reducing the impacts from wildfire that we've seen so far. We have lost so many millions of acres in the state to wildfire, and we have lost so many communities that our federal partners and our state partners, this is not a partisan issue. Okay. This is a social issue. It needs to be couched that way, and we need to be working together to make sure that we're getting treatments on the landscape that are allowing prevention activities to reduce the wildfire impacts. And then I'm a forester by training, as I said, we want to have reforestation completed as well. We need to plant trees after the fires hit so we're not losing our forests in these huge swaths. And right now, a lot more work can be done on that front in certain sectors. So it's like just informing yourself, becoming engaged, and recognizing that the industry in California, while it is an industry, is so interested in helping out all of our partners, state, federal. We want to lean in. We want to make things better for everybody, and that's what CalForest stands for. But as individuals, we need to unlock funding at certain levels to make this stuff happen well and at pace and at scale.
Okay, now you mentioned about private land and federal
Lands.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What's the difference? What would you say is the difference when it comes to funding, even?
Well, so it's not just funding, it's permitting, it's the agencies that are involved. So when we think about federal lands, we'll just use the Forest Service as an example. They're a very good partner. All their funding comes from congressional allocations. These are federally funded agencies. When we think about state lands and private lands, it's the state of California that's often putting out funding or providing guidance or having the oversight on regulation to get the work done on those landscapes. So they're all forests, but they have different pathways to get that work done, and that's complex. That's a very complex issue. That's not that's what I work on. Those are the kind of things I work on. Let's make things easier. Let's bridge that gap. Make it easier so we can get this work done efficiently, and we can start showing benefits to all of the folks and all the citizens of California. We're all tired of choking on smoke.
Right.
Right.
That's true.
Have you gone through this, Felicia? Have you woke up on a Saturday in the summertime? You're like, my God, the sun's orange and the ash is raining down in the Bay Area. Like that environment need not exist in California. That's what I'm trying to help solve. So so this cross-boundary work is really important. But understanding that matrix of federal versus private, it's a policy level discussion that we should get into because it's so complex, but just recognize it exists.
Yeah,
right.
That's why I wanted you to elaborate a little bit, because when you said that, it made my antenna go up like, wait a minute, that's major. We got private, we got state, and we got federal, right? And from the sounds of it, they don't always play too nice.
Well,
together?
I would say in today's world, actually, we all play very nicely together. There has been times in the past where it wasn't like that, I would suggest, or maybe not as well suited for success as we are now. But right now, the federal, state, private, tribal partners all work really well together for the most part.
Good. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, there's a lot more we could do. But
we're getting there. Yeah. We got Matt in there, so we're gonna work it out. That's right.
Bring it together.
All right, now, so what do you think California can do to help reduce the risk of wildfires?
So, again, this is a loaded question. Not loaded. This is a big question, right? Because we look at.
You got to do, right?
Well, you think about it, Felicia. So, like, these are the things that people don't think about. A couple years ago, we had a campfire up in just outside of Chico, California. It started in a park in Chico, California, for an absolutely terrible reason. We're not going to get into that, but it started. Once that fire started, it was burning 3 acres a second. 3 acres a second. That is larger than the footprint of this campus, or probably about the size of this campus. The fire weather was bad. The condition, the fuel loading was high. The fuel moisture conditions were low. And so, like, I think about that, and it's like, do we focus everything on community resilience and building homes that are more resistant to fire, or do we focus on the wildland side of it, or do we do both? I contend that we need to do both. I think that individuals that live in these communities have some level of personal responsibility to make sure that their homes are clear and their homes are constructed appropriately where possible. It's a very expensive process, but look towards getting that done. But we also have to have fuel breaks in the wildland. We have to have resiliency treatments in the wildland, because these fires are so big and move so quickly in today's world that at 3 acres a second, you could have an ignition in Chico, and the same day it's 12 miles away, right? So it's this all lands approach. So what can the state do? I think that the governor this last year did some really good work on suspending some of the regulations on getting fuel hazard reduction work done, and that's a big help. And but funding for prevention and funding for suppression are big pieces of the puzzle, and that's what California could do right now.
And that's what CalForest already does, right?
And that's what we're advocating for consistently.
Okay, we want it to. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So where do you see us 5 years from now with CalForest? Where do you see that 5 years from now? What does that look like to you?
I see that hopefully we have more infrastructure to treat the material that's being generated in the woods right now to get this fuel hazard reduction work or wildfire recovery work done, meaning that once you have a fire hit, you've got to clear it and get it back to a reforested condition, that's a huge amount of work and creates a huge amount of material, woody material. We need to figure out a better industry in California to get rid of that. So I'm hoping that we're going to see that, we call that biomass. So I'm hoping to see higher levels of biomass markets in California. I'm hoping to see more industry engaged on federal lands, where we're actually doing work on federal lands, not generating fiber for sawmills, but actually doing the fuel hazard reduction work and doing the recovery work, because our federal partners need the assistance right now. So industry playing a big role in getting some of that work done on behalf of the people in California. I see higher levels of education. I see more voices in our industry that are coming from communities that historically we haven't touched. So I see like this industry changing over the course of in the next 5 years, but I'm hoping to see the entire state change. I need to see people be more aware of the situations out there. It's very easy to fall back in your community and say, our schools are problematic. I'm not saying that's not the case. They probably are.
Yeah.
But when you, or that our healthcare is problematic, I'm not saying that's not the case. It is as well. But balancing that against these existential crises, and wildfire being one of them across the entire, we got to solve it. We have to get hot and heavy. We got to make some changes, and I think that we're on the right trajectory to make that happen in the next 5 years.
All right, I love that. Thank you so much. It went by quick because you were a great interview. I must say,
Thank you.
I enjoyed you. All right, tell everybody how they can contact you or get involved. We're going to look right here.
Right there.
Right there, and let them know.
So if you want to learn more about wildfire and forestry in California, I would encourage you to visit calforests.org. That's CALFORSTS, plural, calforest.org. Our social media handles are available there. You can visit us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. They're all available right there. And my contact information is on that website. And if you're wanting more information, you can call me directly. I'm open for anybody at any time. So we're looking forward to the phone calls.
All right, thank you so much. Well, you guys, I hope you guys learned something today. And if you want to get involved or find out how you can get involved, make sure you utilize that you see. You're going to see it at the bottom of the screen, the websites, the LinkedIn, and everything, how you can get in touch with Matt. And make sure you guys stay tapped in, because if you can't reach him, contact me. I'll get him money on the job, and make sure you get connected, because this is important. It affects us all one way or another. Sometimes we sit at home and we think, well, my house is not on fire, but trust me, throughout your life, you will know someone that is affected by a fire in some way, shape, or form. I promise you. My family was hit twice in a major way. My mom and my aunt both lost everything at one time from fires that started 2 blocks over. So you guys just keep that in mind. Until next time, I want to thank you all for tapping in, and make sure you stay connected. Until then, peace, one love. May God bless your hustle, and we're out of here. Reach back for those that are coming up behind you, and pay homage to those who did it before you. It's free, and you'll feel good about yourself. I promise you will.
You tuned in. It's the First Lady point of view. First Lady point of view. You tuned in. It's the First Lady point of view. First Lady point of view. Culture, music, news, reviews. You tuned in. It's the First Lady point of view.